Donald Trump is being investigated by the FBI. Who we can rely on? Is this because he was a dangerous criminal in office, or is it because the current establishment doesn't want him to run in 2024? Let's find out now. Hello there, you 5.8 million awakening wonders. Thank you for joining me on this voyage towards truth with all of its complexity. If you don't subscribe yet, subscribe now. Turn on that notification bell in case the algorithm is against us. We need to subvert every single rhythm that the cyborg central forces throw at us. Today, let's understand, or try our level best to, using truth and transparency, what's going on with the FBI and Donald Trump. Did Donald Trump leave office with a bunch of confidential documents? Has anyone ever done this before? And the FBI, the people that are charged with investigating him, can we rely on them anyway? Now, I know a lot of you love Donald Trump. I don't think that Donald Trump is the answer to America or the world's problems. I believe that you are the answer to America and the world's problems. But nevertheless, if the current establishment is even less reliable than Donald Trump, if the current establishment can't think of a good, decent, reasonable political way to nullify the threat of Donald Trump without striping him up and nicking him and banging him up in prison, that shows you how devoid of ideas they truly are. Hit me up in the comments below if you agree with me or disagree with me, and let's have a look at how the mainstream media, our old pals, those truth tellers, those eyes of siren, are conveying this information themselves.
But let's get to the breaking news that's coming from South Florida. You heard about this, too, overnight. Something that has not happened before in American history. So just take that in for just a second.
Well, big deal. That does not happen. Stop trying to big it up as like it's worse than it is. Just try and take that in for a second. A thing that's not happened before has happened now. Also, this didn't happen before in the news. Just take that in for a moment. No one ever in the news has gone... Isn't that mind-blowing? Just because the FBI are investigating Donald Trump, they should have investigated Bill Clinton's aide. They should have investigated Hillary Clinton on the basis of what we're going to read to you in a minute. So don't fetishize this stuff. And again, I'm not saying that Donald Trump is the solution to America's problems. I'm not saying the Republican Party or libertarianism as a movement is the solution to America's problems. But what I am stating is that the political establishment, instead of coming up with a type of politics that is meaningful to ordinary people, that genuinely changes the lives of people that are suffering and struggling, are content to just shut down the opposition. We got two choices. Either we could make America better, fairer, great again, or we could just stultify, stymie, and nullify people that say that they will, whether they will or not.
The FBI executed a search warrant at former President Trump's Mar-A-Lago home.
I'm sick of hearing about that Mar-A-Lago home, aren't you? Are you at the point where you just don't hear about Mar-A-Lago? No, where is he? He lives in a hotel or a golf course. I've never had that before, have you? It's like Neverland, isn't it? I'm not suggesting the same sort of things go on there. Or Graceland, where your home has got its own iconography. Would you like to come on over to Mar-A-Lago? Not really, because it sort of sounds like a type of pasta.
Huge reaction to that FBI raid at Donald Trump's Mar-A-Lago residence, where 15 boxes of material were hauled away.
That's sort of like, why are you saying that? Like that's an amount of boxes to be worried about. I mean, 12 boxes, fine. 13 boxes even, but 15 boxes. And what do you get? Donald Trump will put him in prison yet. Instead of coming up with politics to reasonably confront him, we'll just continue to smear him until you think you've got no options but to put up with the current establishment.
The unprecedented search warrant against a former president.
The news is like news for idiots, isn't it? The only thing I care about is that this is happening for the first time. And a thing happened for the first time today. It's raining frogs. Evel Knievel jumped 25 buses. How about getting into the nuances and the details? Has he done anything wrong? Has anyone done anything like this before? Are the FBI a reliable agency? Because it turns out Hillary Clinton did some comparable things when leaving office. An aide of Bill Clinton did comparable things when leaving office. And the FBI is not like some clear orb of pure consciousness, just going around like Yoda, blessing things and making things better. They're a pretty dubious outfit. Yeah, but it's the first time. Today I saw a president go poo-poo-pee-doo, and I felt better than ever. It's the news of novelty things. Perhaps the reason they call it the news is because they only care about things that are new, rather than telling you the truth about reality, which is what they should be doing.
What are they looking for and why?
That's the sort of thing I come to the news to answer. What are they looking for and why? If any of you could tell me, please tell me and send it to me as a text message on my phone. Why is this happening? Why do we even have a president? Why is my head hurting? When I went to the toilet earlier, I saw some brown bits in it. What's going on?
Former President Donald Trump says the FBI searched his Palm Beach, Florida estate known as Mar-A-Lago
Mar-A-Lago, why don't you mention that again? Why don't you keep going on about Mar-A-Lago?
and had broken open a safe.
This is not the first time a president or vice president has been subjected to this kind of critique. It might be the first time, I think. I don't know, no one's mentioned it. Is this unprecedented? Why don't someone tell me if this is unprecedented?
The unprecedented search.
But listen to this. After Sandy Berger, which sounds like a terrible beach snack, after Sandy Berger, a former national security advisor to President Bill Clinton, was caught removing classified documents from a secure reading room at the National Archives, he pleaded guilty in 2005 to a misdemeanor charge of unauthorized removal and retention of classified material and was sentenced to 2 years probation and 100 hours of community service, fined $50,000 and stripped of his security clearance for 3 years. He also relinquished his license to practice law to avoid disbarment. Many have cited Berger's punishment in arguing that the same standard should apply to former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton for keeping classified information on her private email servers. According to former FBI Director James B. Comey, those servers held 110 messages containing classified information, including 7 email chains concerning matters that were classified at the top secret special access program level, the highest level of classification. Worse still, the Justice Department Inspector General reported that the FBI's Inspection Division found that classified intelligence improperly stored and transmitted on Clinton's server was compromised by unauthorized individuals to include foreign governments or intelligence services via cyber intrusion or other means. But the FBI did not raid Clinton's home. And despite the fact that what Comey publicly called Clinton's careless handling of very sensitive, highly classified information allowed foreign adversaries to obtain US secrets, the FBI director determined that no charges are appropriate in this case. That's because no one's worried about Hillary Clinton becoming president. Not anymore, except people that think it would be a possibility. Then you start being worried.
Pro and anti-Trump protesters gathered outside Trump Tower.
Mr. Trump, can we get your reaction to the raid?
The former president ignored questions as he left last night.
He didn't ignore it. He did this. That's his reaction to the raid. He put his thumbs up. Can I get your reaction to the raid? Best raid there's ever been. Never had a raid like it. No one takes raids better than I take raids.
His political action committee, Save America,
Save America. So good, isn't it? So much bombast, so much brilliant persuasion. He'd probably make this raid seem like a good thing.
is already using the raid to raise funds. While the raid was happening, former President Trump was here at Trump Tower firing off that furious statement.
Firing off a furious statement. Like, again, this is mainstream media presentation. You're saying that he's got no reaction, saying that he's got nothing to say, firing off a furious reaction. Don't be so partisan in your coverage of this story. Say this, for example. Look, Donald Trump, as a billionaire business person, probably ultimately will make decisions that are in alignment with corporate interests in a pretty comparable way to most officials at that level of government, even though he is idiosyncratic and has much better persuasion skills than any other politician. But the fact is, the real problem is bloody Joe Biden and the Democrats, who are currently in power and are ineffective and ineffectual. And the fact is that there's been a state of political inertia for so long that people are willing to take a punt on a demagogic figure because the current establishment simply isn't working. So phrases like drain the swamp and lock her up suddenly have incredible resonance and meaning. That's sort of what I want to hear from the news. Let me know in the comments below what you want to hear.
At a Monday tele-rally with U.S. House candidate Sarah Palin, he had this preview.
Another day in paradise. This was a strange day. You probably all read about it.
Another day in paradise. Like that Phil Collins song about a homeless person. It didn't bother him.
On social media, Trump said, "The raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate."
He chooses good words, doesn't he? It wasn't necessary or it was inappropriate. Like they sort of did an investigation like that. What you got in them boxes? 12, 13, 14, 15? This is unprecedented!
Trump supporters gathered outside Mar-a-Lago in a noisy show of solidarity with the former president.
This show of solidarity is a bit noisy. Why can't you show your solidarity quietly? We really like Donald Trump. That's more like it.
No person is above the law, not even the President of the United States, not even a former President of the United States.
How was Taiwan? How did you afford that brooch? Because you what? You got a tip on what? You did some trading on where? Oh!
Attorney Michael Cohen welcomed the raid with this TikTok post.
All right, knock, knock. Who's there? FBI, that's who's there.
It's a very good TikTok joke, the fucking FBI. Also, I don't imagine it's like knock knock, it's more like
FBI, open up! I want to see him indicted and incarcerated for the crimes that he's committed, and they are plentiful, and hopefully soon we're going to start to see some action.
I don't mind seeing people convicted of crimes legitimately, but I'd be really interested to see where this Hunter Biden laptop takes you. Again, not the salacious stuff that's to do with addiction, which I consider to be tangential and, I don't know, integral to mental illness, but the stuff that suggests that business dealings may have taken place that involved the big guy. I'd like to see that plainly investigated. Let's have a dawn raid there. Knock, knock, who's there? No one, because no one's interested in investigating it. Knock, knock, who's there? You're banned from Twitter.
On Monday, a New York Times reporter posted these photos.
What?
Promoting an upcoming book, claiming they showed Trump trying to flush documents while he was president.
Well, that's how he dealt with it. You've got the CIA, you've got the FBI, you've got the commander-in-chief of the most powerful nation on earth. Oh, God, I better get rid of this stuff.
In his statement, Trump called the search warrant an attack by radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024.
Well, I don't know which one of those versions of the truth is more viable. You tell me what you believe in more or less. But certainly what I would like to see is a better Democrat Party or a new emergent political force in America that's truly representative of ordinary Americans rather than demonising and vilifying populist figures simply because you've got no response to their anti-elite rhetoric. Let's have a look what Matt Taibbi had to say on Substack. Mark Elias, the former top attorney to the Hillary Clinton campaign, has said that the charge in question could result in Trump's automatic disqualification from the 2024 elections. What a coincidence! I'm not and never will be a Donald Trump supporter. You can say that all day long, Matt, in my experience, but people just don't care because they simply don't want to have an argument with reasonable people. But as a journalist, it's become impossible to believe that the endless investigations of Trump over the last 6 years have become anything but a permanent feature of his political opposition. The truth begins with the Trump-Russia scandal, which we now know was a hoax pursued as a real crime by a compromised police apparatus after being concocted by Democrats. So there you go. Is that hoax which coloured our perspective of Trump's presidency has now been proven to be illegitimate. This is from the Washington Post. Last month, Senator E. Grassley, representative of Iowa, reported that multiple FBI whistleblowers had come to him with allegations that senior FBI officials had engaged in a scheme to falsely portray credible evidence related to Hunter Biden's financial and foreign business activities as foreign disinformation to stop further investigation from going forward. They're using the same technique to delegitimize necessary and appropriate investigation into Hunter Biden's laptop. Again, I don't really have any investment in Joe Biden or in Donald Trump or in any of these media organizations. What I hope for, pray for, and believe in is a new type of democracy, a new type of politics where ordinary people can organize their lives in accordance with their own values and principles, some of which are going to vary, some of which may even oppose, unless people are allowed to run their own communities freely according to the values they want to live by. I believe this whole thing is a spectacle, a distraction, and a sideshow. I don't believe that anyone in the current political landscape is offering any solutions that are going to meaningfully impact our lives in a positive way, certainly. And I believe until we have real power in our own lives, things will stay basically the same. But let me know in the comments if you disagree with me. Glenn Greenwald, the well-known fascist, says the FBI still has its headquarters in a building named after J. Edgar Hoover. Should we not name this building after J. Edgar Hoover, you know, with all the corruption and all? No, I still like him. Who constantly blackmailed elected officials with dossiers and tried to blackmail Martin Luther King into killing himself. Martin Luther King, the world's nicest man. You know that Martin Luther King? Yeah, God, he's amazing, isn't he? That speech he did, the way he brought people together, the way he made Christian values relevant to a social and political movement, the way that he diffused potential hatred between races, the vision he had of people coming together. Yeah, him. Could we blackmail him into killing himself? No! Because what, we could just kill him ourselves? Yes. Because that's what these security state agencies are. They are out of control, virtually unlimited police state factions that lie, abuse their spying and law enforcement powers, and subvert democracy and civic and political freedoms as a matter of course. Me personally, I admire anyone that's willing to put themselves into the services, whether that's police or military, who do it because they care about community, because they have values, because they want to support people and they believe in justice. But when these organisations become corrupt, there's nothing more monstrous than it. So why don't you tell me what you think? Is this Trump raid a propagandist trick? Or is it a legitimate inquiry into possible malfeasance? And if the latter is the truth, then why is it not happening in the case of other potential criminal activity, whether that's potentially and allegedly Pelosi's insider trading, potentially and allegedly Joe Biden and Hunter Biden's deals in Ukraine and China, potentially and allegedly Hillary Clinton's emails? All these things ought to be subject to the same level of inquiry. Otherwise, what you're going to get is the idea that the establishment spins particular narratives because it has a vested interest in particular outcomes. And let's be honest, we're grown-ups. That's what systems are. That's what systems are for. We ain't no little kids. We know what the truth is, don't we? But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, have a look at either of these. Give it a thumbs up. Share it around. God knows the algorithm ain't going to help us none. Sign up to my mailing list right now. More important than any of this stuff is that you please, if you can, stay free.